Welcome to Between the Shelves, the premier Save a Library podcast. I'm your host, Alex, and on this episode, we are going to be taking a look back at the Nintendo Switch, one of the best-selling video game consoles of all time. Why are we doing this? Well, I like talking about video games, number one, but number two, the Nintendo Switch 2 was just announced. So I think this is a good time for us to look back at the Nintendo Switch 1, which I think holds a special place in all of our hearts. So on this episode, I've invited a couple of new guests, which I'm excited to have for the first time on the podcast. But I'll introduce our all-time co-host, leader, number one on the leaderboard, Christina. Welcome, Christina.
Hello.
And joining us for the first time from Children's Services, Mackenzie. Welcome, Mackenzie.
Hi, guys.
Thank you for coming. Yeah. And from Patron Services and Tech Services, a little bit of a switch hitter, you might say.
You could say that.
I told you you'd do it.
In fairness, that was not my
It's okay,
knee.
it's your
You
first
said don't
time.
do it with your knee. That was my hand.
Wa-ching.
You weren't specific enough.
Yeah, come on.
Gavin, welcome, Gavin.
Thank you very much for having me.
So why are you two on this episode? I think you are our resident gamers, in addition to Christina and I.
You
So
could say that.
I like that we have, I don't want to make myself sound old, but we have a wide spectrum of perspectives.
Yeah, only make you sound old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm much older. I'm the oldest person in the room, so
Currently.
forever. I hope.
That's true.
That'd be weird if it changed during this podcast.
Yeah.
I could have a birthday in the middle of this podcast.
Hey. Well, once we start talking about video games, you'll find out that I really am still just a big kid. So let's get into it. So in this episode, I thought we could talk about some of our favorite Switch memories. But in case you're not familiar with the Nintendo Switch, let me just give you a little bit of a primer, if you may. Let me just consult my notes. And this will be the only time I consult my notes the entire episode. So the Nintendo Switch released March 3rd, 2017. I can't believe it's been that long. It is like I said, the third most popular console of all time behind the PlayStation 2 and Nintendo DS. It sold 150 million units worldwide as of December 2024. 150 million. It's had two re-releases, the Switch Lite that came out in 2019, which is targeted for more casual gamers, I'd say, and then the OLED model, which is just basically an all-around upgrade that came out 2 years later. So it's had a couple of iterations along the way. I'm still rocking my original 2017 base model. So before we start talking about our memories, or maybe this is a good way to start off the conversation, when did you get your Nintendo Switches?
Literally the day after they announced Pokemon Sword and Shield.
That wasn't a release game, was it?
No, I believe Sword and Shield came out in 2019. So it probably was early
you waited a while.
2019. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't buy a console until I know. I don't buy a Nintendo console until I know a Pokemon game is coming
Yes.
out. That's a Pokemon machine. That's it.
That's your philosophy going into the Switch 2 as well?
Yep.
Nice. All right. What about you, Gavin?
So I also have been rocking the launch model since I pre-ordered it.
Nice.
I didn't come in until a few days after, but that's the one I've been using for the last 8 years.
Mackenzie?
I got mine in 2017.
2017. All right. So we're the OGs. We were not patient. I got mine again, right, maybe a day or two after it was released. I didn't pre-order it, but I don't remember it being too difficult to get the day of as compared to other consoles that have released. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah.
So my earliest memory of the Nintendo Switch was my coworker at the time. This is back before I was a librarian, Matt, one of my good buddies. He got the Switch, I think the minute it was released. And every Sunday, he would take it to work, because Sundays were usually slow, and we'd hook it up to one of the TVs at work, and we'd be playing Mario Kart or Zelda or something. And it was just, I always looked forward to working Sundays, because it was just Nintendo Switch time. And I just remember being like, just blown away by the system. Like, it wasn't like the powerhouse console of its competitors, but just what it could do with the games that I've been growing up with my whole life. Seeing Zelda in a huge open world, playing the crisp, fast new Mario Kart. I don't know. It blew my mind. What about you? What was your go-to game, I guess, when it released?
Well, when it came out, the only game I really had was Breath of the Wild. And that was my first like open world game that I'd ever played. And like that just kind of blew my mind, because I was so used to having like a home console. I had the Wii U and the 3DS. And those were very separate entities. Mm-hmm. And then you bring them together in this little tiny thing, and this can run this huge open world game. It blew my mind. And it was a lot of fun. And I'd played some Zelda games, but this was just a whole new level. It really was. So That was my go-to.
What about you, Mackenzie?
Yep, same. I played Breath of the Wild. Yep.
Yeah, that was for me too. Once I started that, I couldn't put it down. And I guess Pokemon Scarlet and not Scarlet,
no.
Sword and Shield.
Actually, it wasn't. It was also Breath of the Wild because it hadn't come out for many months after I got the Switch. I had to wait. I had to pre-order and wait for Pokemon, but I didn't want to be without a system when everybody else did the same thing.
Right. Seems like Breath of the Wild, I think to this day, I think is still my favorite Switch game. Let's talk about that for a minute. I mean, this was the first time Zelda was in a truly open world environment, and if you're not a gamer, basically that meant there were no walls. You could literally, the whole map was open to you. You could go in any direction, explore which way you wanted. There was no like linear path to follow in terms of, progression. You could, it was just wildly open. Yeah, I don't know. That was the first time Zelda's ever attempted anything close to that. And I think it holds up remarkably well even today.
Yeah, definitely. I have a funny story about Breath of the Wild. So I pre-ordered the Switch, and I pre-ordered the special edition of Breath of the Wild. It just came with the game and, cute little collectible
art books.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And it also came with like a carrying case that was shaped like the Sheikah slate that you use in the game, the one. So I pre-ordered this thing, and it might have been like the day before it all came out. I come home from school. I had like tennis practice, so it was like a little late. It was that yucky late winter kind of day, I'm exhausted, but I see this box on my front porch the day before it comes out. I'm like, oh my God, the Switch came early. Oh my God. So I run up, tear into this box, has my name on it. That'd be weird if it didn't, and I still teared into it. But I ripped into it.
Only like a felony.
Yeah, that would be a little weird. But so I tear into this box, and it's only Breath of the Wild.
No console.
No console. But I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, oh man, I can't play it. But I still open it, and it's still it wasn't a big box, but it was decently sized because it had all the stuff in it with the special edition. And I'm opening the case. I'm like, wow, this is how small the cartridges are. I can't believe that you can fit a game on this. I'm looking at everything else. I open the case. It's got like that new plasticky smell. And it was such like a calm before the storm moment.
Yeah.
It's like pretty soon I'm going to get my hands on this thing and my life is going to change forever. I can take my console gaming on the go now. It was just one of those, it was a sweet moment for me that I think really encompasses just that's the early Switch era for me.
It reminds me of like Christmas morning when you're a kid and like you're pretty sure you're going to be getting the new video game console, and you open up, you're trying to like always save the biggest present for last, but like you open up one of the smaller, well, at least that's how I was, and you open up one of the smaller ones and you get like Pokemon Red, and you're like, oh well, my Santa wouldn't get me Pokemon Red if there wasn't a Game Boy somewhere in this pile of...
I made that face because the Game Boy box was only like this big.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe I should have used like N64. Oh, I got Super Mario 64. This is probably... God, were you even alive for Nintendo 64? No. Oh, man.
Nope.
As a child, I actually still do this today. I always ask, is there an order that I need to open the presents in?
It's a good idea.
I should start enforcing that with my own kids. Because they'll like beeline it to always the most expensive like blockbuster gift, and then everything else is just a letdown from there.
Yeah, this too. Right.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, we kind of skipped over it, like what the appeal of the Switch was, like what was so different about it. So, I think everyone has probably heard of Nintendo Wii, which is still one of the most popular systems of all time. The game, everyone knows it from Wii Bowling. It has like the little remote that you wave around. So that sold 100 million units. It was wildly successful. Everyone knew what the Nintendo Wii was. And then the follow-up to the Wii was the Wii U, which you mentioned earlier, which was a financial disaster for Nintendo. They sold only 13 million units. So Nintendo was in like an absolute panic, and they needed to get back, make their shareholders happy. So it was a kind of a make or break moment for Nintendo. And I think the Switch was a very, in a very Nintendo way, was a very unique kind of a risk. It was the first console that was a sort of hybrid console, you could call it, where you could play it handheld as if it was like, a Game Boy or something, and then dock it with a docking station that it came
You could
with.
switch.
Thank you.
Hence the name.
Oh, I get it now.
Oh.
And it could become a home console like what all the previous Nintendo consoles were. So that was a huge appeal of it. At least that was a big selling point for me. I think in the end I ended up using it handheld maybe 90% of the time, but it was, you'd never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
Even the Wii U, which was kind of the prototype for that, never really lived up to its promise.
You could bring it like 10 feet away from the console and then it would start bugging out,
But you could turn off the TV and play on the little
You could.
pad.
But why would you do that?
Yeah.
That's how I used to do it.
Wow.
I used to play Wind Waker on it.
Wind Waker.
It was a chunky system too. I remember the tablet controller not being so ergonomically appealing.
I enjoyed it, but I was also a wee lad.
You didn't know
so
any better.
I didn't know any better. I think it had a lot of good games, and it was also marketed towards me. That's like the whole big meme with the Wii was, oh my god, all these silly commercials of kids playing and having so much fun. Mom, Dad, we gotta get a Wii U. I was that kid, So I love the thing.
Meanwhile, like when the Switch comes out, they had the famous Breath of the Wild commercial. I don't know if you remember it, where it's like the sad middle-aged man who it's like the whole commercial is him just like going through the drudgery of his days. Like he's like taking the bus to work and he's like working in his like sad office, and he goes home and he's just like undoing his tie, and he just looks so worn down from like capitalism. And then he just picks up his Nintendo Switch and starts Breath of the Wild, and everything's better again.
And now
that was the marketing for me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it definitely was successful, I think, for a lot of people, that kind of marketing that isn't just specifically catered towards tiny kids,
Yeah. The other commercials that were popular for the Nintendo Switch were just like young, attractive people like playing Nintendo Switch in parks, which I don't know, maybe that I wasn't the demographic for that, but did anyone ever have that sort of experience?
I can't say I have, no.
I used to work at the beach when I was young, when I was like 16, when I first got it, and that was literally me on maybe not the young and attractive 16-year-old, but I was sitting on the beach bench with my playing Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
at work.
Do you have the data for pre-pandemic Switch sales versus post-pandemic Switch sales?
I do.
Okay.
So the pandemic shutdown really gave a huge gust of wind under the wings of the Nintendo Switch. So in 2020, they sold 30 million units. So the Nintendo Switch had already been out for over 3 years at this point. They sold 30 million units, which was a 40% jump from the previous year and doubled their sales expectations. And as a result, I personally think the pandemic extended the life of the Nintendo Switch for maybe years. Like the console generation cycle is usually 5-6 years maybe. The PlayStation 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 4 to the 5 is probably about 6 years in between. The Switch was almost 8 years, right?
I think it's been
8 years.
8
yeah.
years. Yeah.
So,
no. Everyone had a Switch too during COVID for Animal Crossing specifically. That was the big one. That was the big appeal. My mom got a Switch. That's how you know. And it was something big.
Yeah, it takes something like that to push you into like the next stratosphere of popularity. Like the Wii was kind of the same thing. It was, your grandma could pick up a Nintendo Wii remote and bowl for a little bit. You didn't have to be like a crunchy gamer like me playing Dark Souls or something.
Playing Dark Souls on a Wii with those controllers sounds like the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
There are people who have beaten Dark Souls with a piano. Like anyone can do anything if they put their mind to it.
With a DDR pad or something.
Yeah, seriously. it's I guarantee it's been done. Like a rock band drum set somebody's beaten Dark Souls on. What are we talking about? Sorry. Oh, pandemic. Yeah. So another memory I had during the shutdown, I was working here at the library when we shut down. So my memory of the pandemic was I'm working from home. The library had maybe just bought a Switch, maybe a few months before. And I had set up weekly Super Smash Bros. Ultimate tournaments virtually through the library, and I set up the Animal Crossing Libraries Island. So the library, for a brief period of maybe a year, had an online presence in the Switch. We had an island that I would go to work in every single day of the pandemic and harvest my whatever and clear rocks and debris from my island.
Wow.
We did have a couple of dozen visitors, which I was happy to see. And then the Smash Bros tournaments, it'd be hit or miss, but we would max out some weeks, and then other weeks, it would just be me and a couple of other people. But we kept that going for months. I mean, we were shut down for a long time, but that was definitely a memory, of this. That was the Switch, like the popularity and everything. It allowed us to continue doing programming from home, and I don't know, that was such a crazy time.
Your villagers must be so mad.
Oh, they've been completely neglected.
They miss you. Come on.
Your house is full of roaches.
It's grumbling.
Well, so Animal Crossing. What's your experiences with Animal Crossing? It's by far one of the most popular games for the system.
I have like 800 hours in Animal Crossing.
Sounds like you were playing it during Shutdown as well.
Yeah, pretty much exclusively. I did nothing else at all, even when I was supposed to be working. Not here, at my other job.
Yeah. It was such a fever dream of a game. I think everyone experienced it in some way during those few months.
Yeah.
And what a game.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Definitely saved a lot of people's lives in a sense. Like, what are you going to do with all this time now on your hands?
It's true. We kept a lot of people indoors and safe.
Yeah.
And probably a lot of mental health
sure,
as well.
Yeah.
Still let you kind of hang out with your friends too, because you could invite them to your island.
Yep.
Yes, also true. Yeah.
Go fishing, catch some bugs, just cute, fun things.
That's not what my friends like to do.
What
We were heavy in the turnip.
No, we were heavy in the turnip.
The stock market.
But only because I needed to pay off the loans. Like, mentally, I needed to pay off my loans to Tom Nook or I would die. I had a friend who, she did this in Breath of the Wild too. Her favorite thing to do is to remove all of her clothing in the game. Link is in his underwear. Villager, as little clothes as they can. And just run around doing ridiculous things. On the island, it was hitting you with a net. So it was actually very like, okay, well, I'm trying to get something done. And there's this creature behind you just like...
with a butterfly net whacking you over the head.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, listen, I'm trying to build something here.
Look, we were all going through something at the time, and this is obviously how your
Not when
friends...
Breath of the Wild came out.
Well, maybe...
Tears of the Kingdom also. How she played.
What the heck? Well, you could just play the game.
I don't know. Have you ever taken down what do they call a Lionel?
I've taken down many
with no clothes on.
I can't say I've done that.
There's no wrong way to play.
Guess you're right. It's one of those games,
So what other some memories that you have of the Switch?
It was the first game where you could like cooperatively play Pokemon, where you weren't just like battling or trading. You could do in Sword and Shield raids together, where you took down like a giant Pokemon together.
Interesting. I didn't know
got
that.
to do a lot of that.
I missed out on a lot of the Switch Pokemon stuff. I kind of regret that. Because
Well, it's still there.
yeah, it is. But I'm hoping maybe they get some Switch 2 upgrades. Maybe I'll pick them up then. But I used to play a lot of Pokemon on like the 3DS because there was a lot of Pokemon on there. Mm-hmm. But I missed out on the Switch. So if I could do anything different with my Switch, it'd be
Is that your number one regret?
That's my number one regret in life.
Let's get to our Switch regrets segment.
Switch regrets.
I never played Metroid Dread. I guess that would be my Switch regret.
Oh, yeah, never did that either.
I heard that's one of the better games.
Yeah.
Mine is that I didn't wait until there were 2 pastel pink Joy-Con to buy. I have one pastel pink and one that they tell me is pastel yellow, but I think is puke green.
Wow. Chartreuse.
Yeah, it's not yellow at all.
I have another memory I'd like to share of the Nintendo Switch. So I was married the same year that the Switch came out, and I remember taking the Switch on my honeymoon to Italy. And that is a long plane ride, as I'm sure you can imagine. And my wife passed out almost immediately. She doesn't do plane rides. And I played Rocket League the entire way from New York to Rome.
Wow.
And it was quite an experience. And the whole way back.
Rocket League out of all of them.
Out of all the games.
That's another one I just never picked up.
it's great on the Switch, gotta say. Very comfortable.
All right. Yeah. Maybe I'll have to check it out. I don't know.
Maybe it will also get a Switch 2 upgrade.
Don't anticipate that.
I don't know about you, but the Switch was like, I was a finisher with the Switch. I previously to the Switch, I would very rarely finish games. But something about the Nintendo Switch, like I would see games through all the way. And two examples of that that come to mind are Minecraft and Skyrim. Two games I've owned on every platform that they've ever come out on. They probably have been out for almost a decade, each of them at that point. Only finished the two of them on the Nintendo Switch. Only time I've ever finished them. I don't know what it was about that little system.
Today I learned you could finish Minecraft.
You beat the Ender Dragon.
Yeah.
Come on.
You're in the wrong circle to be admitting that.
Yeah. I saw a lot of games through to the end also on the Switch. I made it a chore to get all the Koroks and Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Oof.
Yeah. Oof is right. That's like most of my time played in those games is just finding those stupid things. Even a lot of the newer ones. Echoes of Wisdom, the new Mario and Luigi Brothers ship. And they're fun games. I think it's time for the Switch too because they do not run well. But a lot of games I did play through. Despite some of the performance issues, I had a lot of fun with the thing. And I didn't want to put it down.
Yeah. I think the Switch is getting a little long in the tooth for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of tell, especially with like the third-party games, which was Nintendo's kind of whole strategy to prolong the life of the Switch is with, padding its library out with third-party games. But, the last couple of years, it's been really pushed beyond its limits, I think.
It's time.
Yeah.
It's time.
Do you have any other memories of the Nintendo Switch you'd like to share?
I guess this one is
Gavin came prepared. I like this.
I just have them floating around up there, I live in this space. So it's not really Switch exclusive because it was on the Wii U and the 3DS too, but just the Smash Brothers hype. Anytime there was a character reveal in, one of those Nintendo Directs,
yeah,
I'd be watching the whole thing the whole time. They show some cool games off. I'm like, okay, cool, next. I want to see the character.
Mm-hmm.
And just that hype tornado.
The drop.
Yeah, and like all the friends would be on the phone like, oh my God, Banjo-Kazooie, It was a blast the whole way through. And even now, way after Smash is, I guess, it's not dead, but, it's, no new characters, no new updates. Even now, that with the friends, when we get together, put on Smash Brothers, beat each other up for a while, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's just one of the
formula that does not get old.
No way.
And it comes with a collectible game.
A collectible
That's
game?
right.
Yeah, amiibos.
Oh, yeah.
I have a Sephiroth amiibo, and I don't even own Super Smash Brothers in any form.
Yeah, Smash Bros is like the perfect example of a game where it's like more is better.
Oh, yeah.
It's like more is, usually like, especially with open world games, like you can reach a point where adding more to the world eventually starts decreasing the quality of the game and the fun you're having. But with Smash Bros, it's just like there's how many characters to choose from, how many levels, and then it just seems seemingly unending content.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely my top 5, probably most hours ranked into any game in Switch. What a game.
Yeah, that's always a blast. Always.
The last one of my like memories sort of is about the Switch, or the way I think of the Switch is it was such a good platform for indie games. Nintendo was pretty not anti-indie game in previous generations, but they kind of had like a walled garden sort of approach. And then the Switch era just blew that door wide open. I mean, they have thousands, too many indie games now, where there's just junk in there too. And
the AI slop.
Yeah, it's causing
not as bad as the PlayStation AI slop.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, PlayStation, I guess, had their door open for longer. But Nintendo, it seems egregious because their interface is so horrendous.
Yeah.
But that's how I think of the Switch. I played so many great indie games on the Switch. I mean, I have a list on my phone, but it's way too long. But I don't know. What about you? What were your anything like favorite indie games that come to mind that you played on the Switch?
Does Fashion Dreamer count? I don't even know who created that.
It sounds like an indie game. I don't think like EA published. I mean, I'll start. I like Firewatch. Did you ever play Firewatch? That was a great game.
That's a good game, yeah.
Undertale.
I did that on the PC.
Yeah, it's been on other systems,
Yeah.
but it seems like it was. I think that's right up your alley.
I should, yeah.
You really
it's a
should.
good class.
It's not long either.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought I was
no.
under the impression that it was like.
I think you could finish it in maybe 4 or 5 hours.
Wow.
If you want to, there are a couple endings that you might have to. If you want to get all the endings, it might take you a little longer than 4 or 5 hours.
I'll watch the.
If you
the
see
YouTube.
things through to the end like I do, and you want to get all the endings.
Yeah. While you're thinking of any indie games you want to mention, was pulling up some stats on the Switch earlier. So, of just Nintendo first-party releases, they have 5 games in the top 50 of all-time selling games. The Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros., Zelda Breath of the Wild, Animal Crossing, and Mario Odyssey.
Oh,
There-
Mario Odyssey.
5 original Nintendo games in the top 50 best-selling games of all time. On the platform in total, they have between 20 and 25 games on the top 50 all selling time. All, you know what I'm trying to say.
Did all of the top 5 have bundles with the console? Because I know at least 2 of them did.
Odyssey did, I think.
Right.
Odyssey was the only one I'm unsure of.
Well,
Yeah.
there was like this weird Mario bundle where you could pick either New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe or Mario Kart or Odyssey. It was a weird one.
I think that's a good observation. I think you're right then.
Really gaming the numbers there.
Hey, when you're Nintendo, you can do whatever you want with your own first-party games. Mario Kart 8 is the 6th highest grossing game of all time.
Yeah,
Isn't that wild?
sounds right. I mean, it's a great game.
Mhm.
It's weird too because it's like, I mean, I guess not because the Switch was so much more successful, but it's like a remake or a port rather of a Wii U game,
Right.
which I think that just goes to show Wii U, a lot of untapped potential. All right, I'm still a Wii U lover at the end of the day. A lot of great games.
Yeah, from a hardware perspective, it wasn't really that great of a jump.
No.
But it was just the form factor, I think. I think the branding also didn't do it any favors. People were like, I know what the Wii is, but what's a Wii U?
Thought it was like a new controller.
Yeah, I wonder if they called it the Wii 2, if that would have been any better.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
They couldn't have called it the Wii 2. Because then, well,
What?
Wii.
then you have Wii jokes, right?
Oh, they could have called it the Wii squared. The Wii.
Yeah, Wii times Wii.
All right, well, anyone have any final thoughts about the Nintendo Switch?
Final thoughts. I love the Nintendo Switch.
Well said.
Yeah, I do.
So the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming out soon. What are your expectations, hopes for the Nintendo Switch 2? How could they improve upon the Switch?
I'm excited for it, and I love the Switch, like I just said, but I think there are several areas that need improvement. Obviously, the power of the thing, which looks like it's going to be a pretty significant improvement. 4K, 120 frames per second, HDR on the actual screen itself. A lot of good things. Another thing, the Joy-Cons. That's got to be the biggest one. Why do the controllers stop working after you play with them for a month or two? That's just unacceptable. So I hope that
I don't think that that's a problem specifically with Nintendo because PlayStation has the same problem with their
Not to the
controllers.
degree of Nintendo.
yeah.
Not quite to the same degree, but pretty close. Where I've had a Switch for 6 years, and I've gone through 3 sets of controllers, and I've had my PS5 for 4 years, and I've gone through 4 controllers.
Wow.
I think you're playing Infinity Nikki a little too aggressively. But Nintendo's had class action lawsuits for their controller design.
Yeah.
As far as I know, PlayStation hasn't.
Not to mention that it's just not fun to use the Joy-Cons. They do not feel good to hold at all.
They do if you have tiny childlike hands.
I have pretty small
They're
hands.
perfect for my hands. Even doing just one feels fine.
Ugh, I can't stand the sideways. I cannot do that.
Yeah.
I stuck to the
You
Pro
get like
controller.
cramped up.
Yeah.
After getting the Steam Deck, it's impossible to go back to the Switch. It feels like I'm holding like a McDonald's toy. I'm gonna snap in half.
I'm scared to use it. Anytime I would take it on the go, I would like prop it up and I'd bring my Pro controller with me. I could not do the Joy-Cons. I couldn't.
Yeah, I couldn't go back. I think they nailed the formula with the Switch. It seems like the Switch 2, they're not changing really much of anything except just updating the hardware, which I think is really all they need to do.
Yeah.
Don't mess with success.
Well, they also have like the mouse feature thing on the Joy-Cons too now. That's another weird Nintendo innovation.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how many companies don't use that.
Hey, Metroid Prime 4, they're going to use that. That's one.
Nintendo always adds some gimmick to the console that is used for like the first year or two only by Nintendo, and then it's just abandoned and forgotten.
Pokemon occasionally will use them. Like it used the microphone on the DS so you could blow on it and like dry off your Pokemon after you gave them a bath.
I loved that about the DS. Every game that utilized the microphone used the same mechanic. You just blew on the mic. Yeah. There was no talking or anything. It was
Dude,
just...
an Astrobot too.
Mackenzie, what are you looking forward to playing on the Switch 2?
I'm a big Persona fan.
Really?
Anyone else here?
I recently just played Metaphori Fantasia, which is by the same company, and I wish I played Persona 5 instead, because Persona 5 has that nice jazzy soundtrack.
Yep.
So you're looking forward to what, Persona 6? Whatever's coming out?
Yeah, Persona 6, hopefully. Or they were going to try to like remaster Persona 4. No one knows.
Didn't they just do that? No, they just did 3.
Persona 3, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Persona, wow. I love having new people on the podcast. I learned so much about everyone. Gavin, we're going to learn more about you soon.
Just shoved it to the side.
Soon.
Don't reveal any information about yourself.
Nope.
We already know everything we need to know about Gavin. Minecraft is his wife.
Why?
Minecraft is my wife. Fortnite is my life. Elden Ring changed my life. All right.
And Minecraft is Mrs. Allen. He's not Mr. Minecraft.
Is there a Gavin Craft?
Gavin Craft.
Gavin
Oh,
Craft.
God. I'm going to have a nightmare now. All right. Well, I think that just about did it for our Nintendo Switch A Look Back episode. Maybe we'll have you both back for the Switch 2 release, and you can give us your thoughts on that. Hopefully the library will be getting one so I can get my hands on one, because I am not going to be getting one release day. Might be waiting a little bit.
It's probably the best idea.
All right. Well, I think that does it for this episode. Thank you all for joining me. And listeners, we'll see you next time between the shelves.